They will make speeches, and there will be a Q&A session as well. During the Q&A session, please raise your hand and introduce yourself first. And you're allowed to ask 3 questions maximum. And then the mic will be taken away from you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to brief about August 31st, the Saturday assembly and procession in Hong Kong Island. Our standpoint from the police side as well as the arrangements. Earlier on, the police has received a notice from the organizer saying that on August 31st, the Saturday, there will be a public assembly and procession in Hong Kong Island. The detailed route will be the Chatard Park and then to Sai Ying Pun. Total number of people would be around 2,000 to 5,000 after risk analysis and based on the principles of public order and the protection of others' freedom and safety. And the police decided to send out the letter of objection to the organizer, and it has already been done in the morning today. In the past 2 months, we have all witnessed that there were peaceful public assemblies and processions, but unfortunately, there were more violent rioters. They've escalated their violent acts. And these acts have nothing to do with what they demanded. If you look at the screen, you will be able to see that they took away the road railings as blockage on the road, and they besieged different government buildings, the police buildings, the government headquarters, the tax bureau building. And these acts impeded the government functions from implementing. And these violent acts escalated more and more. Rioters used bricks and metal balls to attack police. They shot laser beams at the eyes of the police officers. These could not be accepted by anyone. And recently, a huge amount of petrol bombs were hurled, and they also used bamboo sticks and metal poles, hurting not only the police but also the peaceful demonstrators and the bystanders. In the past Saturday and Sunday, we all witnessed that these rioters vandalized public facilities in Kwantung. They cut off the lampposts in Chunwan. We saw that they vandalized stores. They used metal poles to break their surveillance camera and the windows. And they also used road railings to blockade the entry of the stores, and as well as the fee tolling posts. And they also vandalized the traffic lights. These, let me ask, what is the relationship between this vandalism and the demands? And I saw many innocent residents were involved. And conflicts so raised because of different opinions, different political standings, and people holding different ideas were besieged by the rioters and sometimes even beaten up by fists or legs by the rioters. Some were detained by the rioters. So I could say that violent rioters are already in the peaceful demonstrators. They are threats to the peaceful demonstrations and to innocent residents. During this period, we've been collecting intelligence. And on the internet, many said that the August 31st public assembly and procession might have sacrifices. Why on August 31st? Because that would be the end of the summer vacation. But that might be the innocent ideas of the youth, some of the youth. From this telltale signs, we would be able to know that large-scale violent acts, vandalism might happen, which damage the public order and the participants' safety, including the reporters and innocent residents and police safety, personal safety. For the above-mentioned reasons, in order to protect others' freedom and rights, we had to send the letter of objection to the organizer of this public assembly. We respect rational and peaceful demonstration and assembly. This is part of our services to facilitate the peaceful demonstration, but we would never support dangerous public activities. If we tolerate these activities, then we're being irresponsible. In the relevant regulations, it is police responsibility to protect social safety. We will try our best to guarantee residents' lives and property. I would like to report the operations details yesterday in Meifu. Under the bridge of Meifu Bay, we saw posters on the wall, and then there were oral altercation and then physical injuries arisen from these oral alternation. And the police arrested 3 male, ages from 43 to 56. Around 11 p.m., more than 20 protesters gathered in West Kowloon in front of the police station, and they shot laser beams at the police station. The police issued warning. However, the rioters refused to leave, so police made arrest of four men aged between 19 to 23, charged of the crime of unlawful assaulting the possession of invalid ID card. They're now under investigation. And we've made several investigations yesterday. We've arrested 8 more people, including the June 6 unlawful assemblies, a besiege of Legislative Council, and August 13th male unlawful assembly and detention, unlawful detention, and assaulting police in the Hong Kong International Airport. In yesterday's operations, police did not sustain injury. Besides, in yesterday's operations, we did not fire any bullets or use any grenades. And police has taken notice that on the social media platform, there were personal information being exposed, the police and their families. Now, the incident involved to the kindergarten children, physical attacks and oral attacks. Police believe these acts are reckless, and irresponsible. We shall bring those suspects to justice. And we found that more than 1,600 police and their family members' personal information have been disclosed on the internet. And the rioters make use of their information to apply for loan on the internet and try to conduct physical attacks. The police arrest 15 male and 4 female charged of the online bullying. And there were 606 cases concerning private information disclosure, which is unlawful. We must reiterate that the internet world also has law. According to the law in Hong Kong, most of the law and regulations for the physical world also applies to the internet world. About August 31st, public assembly and precision. As far as I know, the organizer has appeal from the appealing commission, and the police will wait for the final result. I hereby notify all residents, if you take part in the already forbidden and objected public assembly, then there's possibility that you will be charged with unlawful assembly. You might be in prison for maximum 5 years. Certainly, we'll follow up with the situation, and we do not want to see any unlawful acts happen on that day. The police will step in time, hoping to bring the suspect into justice. And last, I appeal to members of society to cut ties with the rioters, to stay away from the possible dangerous areas, to protect your own safety.
District on this Saturday, 31st of August. Police have prohibited the public meeting and objected the public possession. The objection is in the interest of public safety and public order and protection and right and freedom of other citizens. Now I will just briefly explain the background. Over the past 2 months, there is increase in the intensity and extensity of violence used by protesters. What begins as peaceful demonstrations or assembly in one district may easily descend to intense violent clashes extending to various districts across the city. Some radical and violent protesters hijacked the recent public events and committed reckless destructions of properties and brutal attacks on police officers. Apart from extensive road blockage, some rioters repeatedly attack our police officers with all kinds of offensive weapons, like bricks, like long sticks, like some sharpened poles, and even petrol bombs. More and more innocent victims suffer from their irresponsible acts of violence, not only about citizens as well as police officers. They suffer from random assault and even unlawful detentions at the hands of rioters. Against this background, police vet every applications for holding public events very carefully and critically conduct independent risk assessment. As for the proposed public events on these Saturdays, from our reliable intelligence, we reasonably believe that certain protesters will commit acts of violence during the gathering. Although a protest held by the same organizers was generally peaceful on 18th of August, we have noticed a lot of online comments to propagate the use of extreme violence in the coming protests. Some netizens even went to the extreme of promoting deadly violence. From our past experience, these radical protesters have indeed realized their extreme ideas into reality. We believe there's a very, very high chance that certain radical protesters would hijack these proposed public events again. The potential danger would be a grave concern and threat to public safety. Police must take proactive steps to prevent such violence from repeating, as we are duty-bound to preserve public peace and to protect life and property. Here's come about the arrest figures. Now, at this moment, we have arrested 3 males aged between 43 and 54 for common assault, unlawful detentions, and fighting in a public place during an incident related to sticky notes wars in Mayfu. Later in Hong Kong, over 20 protesters surrounded the Kowloon West Regional Traffic Headquarters, behaving in a disorderly manner. We arrested 4 males aged between 19 and 23 for unlawful assembly, possession of offensive weapons. As for the previous offenses, we further arrested 34 people. Now come to the conclusion. Police respect all citizens' rights to assembly and their rights to express their views and opinions. In fact, we have been doing this and facilitating peaceful and orderly public events over years. However, the ongoing protesters over the past 2 months have taken a heavy toll on all sectors of the community. It is our legal responsibility to protect public safety and order under the Public Order Ordinance and Police Force Ordinance of Hong Kong law. We make these deliberate decisions to object to the proposed public event. We understand the organizer has already filed an appeal, and we will wait for the final decisions made by the appeal board. And in the meantime, we hope that the public will respect other rights and freedoms when they express their own views, and also please refrain from all unlawful and violent acts.
好，問題時間開始，每位最多問3題啊。Cable。